What's up? Welcome back to episode 3 of Online Money, where we're going to talk about offer creation. And before we talk about what to sell, I need to clear up a very common misconception that if you don't understand this, it will mess you up completely. A lot of people think the answer is, how many followers do I have? Other people hear me talk and they think, okay, well, engagement's the only thing that matters. And the truth is that both of those are wrong by themselves. The reality is actually a combination of followers and engagement that matters when you talk about creating an offer that's successful and doesn't hold you back. Here's the model I want you to understand. Engagement tells you what you're allowed to sell. Follower count tells you whether leverage will work. In other words, engagement is permission and follower count is leverage. So at its core, you need both. And let me be very clear about something. Just because you have high engagement doesn't mean that a low ticket volume offer will work for you. Like, for example, if you have great engagement, but only a few hundred followers, you don't have volume. And a low ticket digital product only works if you have volume. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this right here, and if understood properly, will be the difference between you having an offer that is successful and an offer that completely fails and pushes you back. A proper low ticket funnel and offer needs trust and volume. Now, why am I spending so much time talking about low ticket and engagement and follow count? That is because when we talk about what offer to create, it's a very simple equation. And I've talked to a lot of people where they think, well, I'm just gonna start a low ticket digital product or a low ticket school community, and I'm just gonna pump people there, and then next thing I know, I'll be at $10,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. And the reality is that can work, but only if you have the followers and the engagement to back it up. So we'll get into that in a minute here as far as what is the equation that you need to fully understand before you start to put together your offer. But before that, again, I want to drive home the point that I don't want you to think about it just in follower count or just engagement. These are two buckets that need to be combined when you're coming up with the correct offer to sell for you and your specific market. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to break this down into 3 levels, and then I'll tell you what the follower range and what the engagement, and more importantly, what offer you should create based on each. So I'm gonna share my screen and show you guys a mural board right now where I broke down the 3 different pillars and what you should expect and what kind of offer you should make based on those 3 pillars. As always, this mural board is gonna be linked down in the description below as this episode's free resource. So let's go ahead and get that pulled up here. Here we have Online Money episode 3, offer creation, your decision tree. This is not a one size fits all kind of thing. I tried my best to find a way to make it as simple and practical, but the reality is that when it comes to creating an offer, there's just so many things that could really matter when it comes to creating a healthy offer, but I broke it down to the simplest and most baseline level possible. We talked a lot about engagement before, and I'm gonna show you why that's so important. This is the golden rule that I need you to understand when you're talking about creating an audience. If you have a ton of followers, but no one's engaging, you're gonna have to create a different sort of offer versus if you even have maybe 50,000 followers, but you have a great engagement level. That is gonna require a different offer and a different set of skill sets to be successful. So what I want you to understand is that the engagement rate is the average likes divided by followers times 10. You may be thinking, I don't know what my average likes is. I'm gonna have to go do all the math. Well, it's very simple. Just go ahead and click this link right here. I'll have this link down below as well. And that will pull up this page. You make a free account and you can actually search up your own Instagram account. And now I went ahead and pulled this up for me. As you can see, as the time filming this video, I have 451 followers, so very low, extremely low follow count, but I have a high engagement count. Now remember what I talked about before, follower count is strictly not everything. You can't just say, well, I only have 1,000 followers, so I can't launch any offer. You have to say, what's the right offer for me to launch based on my specific situation? Now, in my case right here, I'll go ahead and pull this back up. In my case right here, I have a low follow count, but a high engagement rate. What would that mean? Remember, these are 2 buckets that need to be combined when we talk about what offer to create. So let's go here in the 3 pillars. We'll start here. 0 to 50,000 followers. On average, you're gonna have low engagement. I've been blessed enough to have a high engagement in my Instagram due to the content strategy that I've been following from episode 1. And so if you want to go ahead and implement that, I'd go recommend taking a look at that video if you haven't come from that one already. So here's the truth about 0 to 50,000 followers with low engagement. You have low volume, you have low trust, and you have a high need for access. What you should be estimating here is a 0.5% conversion rate. When I talk to people who have a lower follower count and lower engagement, there's really only a few different options you have as far as what kind of offer would make the most amount of sense for you. Because when you remember, again, a low ticket requires volume and you just simply don't have the numbers to be able to push people in a low ticket model that's gonna make profitability sense for you. So here's what I would recommend if you fall into category 1 where you're in 0 to 50,000 followers and you have a less than 1% engagement rate. I would recommend one-on-one coaching, group coaching, async coaching. That would be the main pillars. As you can see, what you need to think about for this level is you're giving people access. People want to buy access to you, and because of that, they understand that they're going to have to pay a bit more of a premium for it. When you're first starting off, again, I recommend just trading your time for money. That's how you have to start off in this business before you get the volume to be able to trade money back for time. I'd recommend doing one-on-one coaching. And then maybe once you're past your first 5 clients, you can transition that into group coaching. Again, at this situation, a low ticket funnel just simply is not gonna work for you. You don't have the volume or the engagement to have that be successful. And we're only talking about organic here. We're not talking about running paid ads. We're not talking about any sponsorships, nothing like that. All these tiers are gonna be what you can expect from an organic following and an organic conversion rate. What would not be allowed at this level would be a low ticket offer or passive courses. This would be like a low ticket school or even a mid ticket school community where you simply don't show up at all, where it's only video modules. That is just not going to work and not going to be successful at this specific level. Again, think about it. People at this point are willing to pay for your access, and they know that paying for your access is going to cost more of a premium. So it's going to be more profitable for you. And the other great part is you're going to actually solve these problems up here, because you're going to build volume with your coaching clients, you're going to build trust, and you're going to build an even higher need for access across different platform levels. And so once you do this properly and you're doing this for a long time, and you can start to see your follow count and more importantly your engagement count start to go up, then you can start to go into more passive ways to buy your time back with your money. But again, if you're falling into this category, you need to make sure you're doing one-on-one coaching, group coaching, or async coaching as is your only offer. No low ticket, no passive courses. The bottom line is engagement determines offer permissions. If you have a ton of followers and you have low engagement, that's not gonna help you in any way. You're gonna have paid traffic to funnel anything into a low ticket funnel. This is why exactly I said in my episode 1 that the content you need to be creating needs to be value driven, so that way your IPC or your ideal client avatar actually ends up on your page and follows you. I've seen people be able to take this and be successful even in the low engagement range and low follower range because they're doing group coaching, async, and one-on-one coaching. And they've been able to make a good amount of money doing it that way as well, building trust and building the need for more access. So let's get into this second pillar. I'd say if you're in that 5 to 50,000 followers, you should be expecting a minimum engagement of about 1 to 3%. The truth is here is you have some trust, you just have inconsistent demand. So people are hopping on your page, they're hopping off, they're following, they're not following, they're liking some of your stuff, they're not liking others. But you do still have a core group of individuals who are constantly showing up on your page again and again and again. I want to quickly talk about the principle of 1,000 true fans. Now, I heard this principle recently from one of my mentors that I have. It could not be more true. The principle of 1,000 true fans is that no matter what career, business, industry you're in, you only need 1,000 true fans to be successful. Now, how does this correlate over into our business, right? Well, think about it this way. At any one of these levels, all you need is 1,000 true fans, because let's do the math real quick. 1,000 people paying you $1,000, well, that's $1 million right there. So when you break it down that way, it actually becomes quite simple to make $1 million in the online space. You just have to have 1,000 true fans. When you're talking about the second and third category of the 5,000 to 50,000 follower range, you don't need to worry about monetizing the entire 50,000. All you need to do is worry about finding the 1,000 people out of that who trust you and have demand for your product and service. Back into our second pillar here, what you can be expecting if you have if you have a $5,000 to $50,000 follower range and you have about a 1 to 3% engagement, what you can be expecting is a 1 to 1.5% conversion rate. Here's what I recommend as far as offers go for this middle range. I would recommend a mid-ticket digital product. A mid-ticket digital product could be anything that's like $300 to $1,000. And a digital product, remember, is something that you've created once and then you just strictly sell it. This could be like a playbook, an ebook, maybe a small video course. That would be all things I would consider a mid-ticket digital product. At this level, you need to have a group coaching model built into this. You have enough trust and demand to be able to start to leverage your money to create more time. Now, in a group coaching model, you would ideally have courses already built out, and you would offer access to you weekly, maybe bi-weekly, depending on how you're just getting started. That would be your biggest bucket as far as where you're gonna funnel everyone to. Now, they can start at your mid-ticket digital product with the idea and hope that they're going to ascend into the group coaching. Think about the mid-ticket product as the very top of the funnel where it's going to collect the most amount of people, and then as you go down, it's obviously going to shrink and you get more quality at a higher price point, which equals more money to you. So again, mid-ticket digital product would be that $200 to that $1,000 price range, and then we hit the group coaching, which at this point we'd be probably anywhere around $2,000 to maybe even $4,000. Again, guys, this is not a one-size-fits-all. You'd have to do the specific numbers on your engagement and your follow count and how much trust is built up with you to know the specifics of it. But at this point, I would offer group coaching where you would show up weekly, twice weekly, and they'd have access to some sort of community. At this level, I'd also recommend doing some sort of one-on-one coaching where people would pay more premium to get more access to your time. Now, you can do a low ticket at this level only if engagement supports it. So if you're on the higher end of the engagement board here, let's say you're closer to that 2.5 to 3%, and you already, keyword is already, have everything else built out, then I would start funneling low ticket clients. Keep this in mind, guys. No business ever failed because it ran out of sales. Your number one job, if you're coming from part 2, which is the funnel, your number one job is cold outreach and selling. That is the only way you're going to be in business long enough for any of these funnels to work. So again, if you already have the group coaching, the one-on-one, and the async built out, I would focus on doing the mid-range digital product. And then if that's being successful, because that's going to help gauge your low ticket engagement as well, I would start focusing on a low ticket product at $37 to $97 a month. School community, ebook, workshop, something like that. Same rule applies. Engagement determines offer permission. Engagement is one of the most important things when it comes to creating an offer. Now, for those of you guys who are at the 25 to 100,000 followers, your engagement should be around 3%. Again, keyword is should. It doesn't work like that for every single person. The reality at this level is that demand exists, but the back end is just leaking money. So you don't have a proper system to be able to monetize your audience. You're maybe working on brand deals, advertisements, doing influencer marketing, things like that. As a creator, you're having a hard time actually capturing everyone on your page who actually wants to buy a product and service and learn from you. And transparently, that's exactly what I do. If anyone's in this category where you have 25 to 100,000 followers and you have an engagement of 3% plus, go ahead and my Instagram's down in the description below. Shoot me a DM. This is exactly what I do. I help brands at this level monetize so they can focus on doing what they do best, which is creating content. So at this level and this engagement rate, you should be expecting a 1.5 to 2% conversion. And here's the offers that I would allow here. The first thing is 100% a low ticket entry. This is going to be what's going to create your baseline MRR, and that's going to help funnel people as far as ad spend and have better products built out for your more mid-ticket to high-ticket package. If you're having a successful low ticket and you're having volume jump in there, I would completely skip the mid-ticket. However, it can work from time to time to have it funnel sequentially down the line. But I've seen it most, and personally what I like to do the most with people at this level is just do low ticket straight to high ticket coaching, which has a community and membership involved to it. At this level, you can only offer premium one-on-one if it's at an extreme cost, because at this level, you already have true demand. You don't need to be leveraging your one-on-one time for the same price as group coaching. Remember, group coaching at this point should be you show up once a week, you have coaches who handle other stuff, the community is self-sufficient, and you're not trading your time for money anymore. If, and this is a hard if, you have any demand for one-on-one coaching, it should be at an extreme cost, because the most important thing at this point is for you to focus on creating quality content to funnel more people in, not spending a ton of time to build trust, because it is already there at this level. As always, engagement determines offer permission. These are a couple of truths that I want to leave this video off with. Access before leverage. Low ticket, mid ticket is a leverage play. You built the product and now it's just paying you without you having to show up again. You don't get that level until you have the access, the trust, and the demand built up. Low ticket requires volume. I've seen so many people try to do low ticket before it makes sense, and it completely burns them out because they simply don't have enough people in it to make sense financially. Low ticket requires high engagement and high follow count. And remember this too, the highest touch should be the highest price. So especially when you're on the higher end of the spectrum, you're at the 3% engagement plus and the 25 to 100,000 follower plus, your highest touch point would be the one-on-one coaching. That would be your most premium, expensive, costly price point. Your only goal here should be creating better content to funnel more people into your low, mid, and group coaching funnel. Here's the key principle that if you don't understand this, this whole entire video would be 100% worthless for you. The wrong offer slows growth. I'll say it one more time. The wrong offer will slow your growth, and in some cases, in few cases, it will completely kill it. This is specifically what I do, is I help brands monetize without having to deviate their focus on what they do best. If anyone is interested in looking at that and partnering up, go ahead and shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'd be happy to see if what I can do makes sense for you. So again, the mural board is linked down below. It's a free resource for this week. And let me run through this one last time in a super simple form for you. If engagement is under 1%, sell access. If engagement is under 3%, productize your access. If engagement is over 3% and you have the follow account to back it, only then can you start using leverage. Engagement tells you what to sell. Follow account tells you how far it can go. If you skip stages, the offer will 100% punish you. On the next episode, we're going to be breaking down sales, because the reality is that even the right offer won't make money if you don't know how to convert that conversation properly. So I'll leave you with this. Engagement is permission, followers are leverage, and if you get those backwards, nothing will work. I appreciate you guys for spending some time with me this evening. The next video for you to watch is linked down below, and we'll see you soon.